let me introduce myself, if that's possible. My name is, this is me. I'm Heather Dean. I'm Head of Skills and Business Support at Buckinghamshire Business First, and I'd like to welcome you to this webinar and workshop, or call it whatever you like, but information session on the Business Awards. And so I would like to say, well, welcome to the Business Awards 2023. We're here to celebrate businesses and what you're all doing. And in a workshop, doesn't always feel a bit like celebration, but let's just have a quick look at last year. We got anything to celebrate? Last year, well, it was a bit dire, wasn't it? I can remember getting to New Year's Eve and everybody was saying, oh, it's been a dreadful year, you know. And so we had the Ukraine war started, we had Partygate, we had several prime ministers, Queen died. I mean, it was all going on last year, let's face it. And throughout all of that, the economy was ducking and diving. We were seeing off the last of the COVID restrictions. We didn't quite win the Eurovision, but we are staging it this year on behalf of Ukraine. So lots of things happened last year. And throughout some of the dire things that were going on the back of the repercussions to the economy, running a business of Brexit and COVID. We've got businesses like yourselves who have been absolutely amazing despite all of that chaos happening around us. And many of you have been really, really successful, and your resilience, your willingness to pivot a business when it's required, the sheer fantastic entrepreneurial skills that we have in this country is something that we really must celebrate. We really must shout out about. And we want you to celebrate that with both your staff and your customers. So we're really keen to be launching the event, the awards today, and we're really happy to do that. But some of you might not have entered the awards before, and you're probably wondering what it's all about. So I'd like to just show you a little bit of video from last year's awards so that you can see what it's all about. So bear with me, and if my colleague Megan can just give me the heads up if the sound is not coming across. So that's what it's all about. And we wouldn't have the business awards unless we had a whole heap of fantastic sponsors who year on year sponsor us. Many of them, some of them are new for this year. And on entering, you will find out more about these sponsors as time goes on. Hopefully you will get to meet one or two of them as well. Before we go any further, when you do a workshop like this, it's very one way, and I hate workshops that are all just information giving and they're not involving you. So I wonder if I call out your name, I would be very grateful if you could put your video on, unmute yourselves just for 5 minutes, all of you, so we don't get the endless delay and people muting and unmuting. There aren't many of us. Feel free to join in, ask questions. Let's get to know each other as if we're all face to face. But if I go through names, one person, Jewel, unable to unmute or whatever, fair enough. But let's just introduce ourselves. Who are you? Where are you from?
Sorry, who are you asking?
Yes, yourself, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
That's Giles.
Sorry, are you asking Dave or Giles?
No, I'm asking Dave. Sorry,
okay.
Somebody else got in there. This is Dave. Introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? Dave, are you unmuted? Dave Mills, calling Dave Mills. Okay,
he's not unmuted, I'm afraid.
Okay, let's leave Dave then. Go on to Giles.
Hi, yeah, I'm Giles Oakley. I'm from Two Spoons Tea Limited. We are a newish tea company. We've been around for about 2 years now, but we're tea professionals. We've been in the tea trade for 50 odd years between us, Mark and I, the other spoon. We're based in Chesham, and yeah, we launched this tea company 2 years ago. We've got a Bucks blend out there, which is our, we're going to take on Yorkshire tea. So we're going to have a Bucks blend tea, which is going to take over the world.
I rather like the sound of a Bucks blend tea. I feel the need to get some in and try it out. Giles, welcome. Good to have you on board.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this session. Okay, going through. Jules, I know that you can't speak, so Nikki.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I live up near Winslow, near Buckingham. So I am a freelancer. I work in social media and communications. I primarily work with theatres, independent theatre companies, writing blogs, award entries as well. Hence why I'm here today, just to get a few, little hints and tips there. Yeah, so I work with companies all around Aylesbury, Buckingham, Milton Keynes. And that's me.
Okay, no, that's really good. Thank you, Nikki, and welcome. Olivia, are you there?
Hi, it's not Olivia, it's Teresa, actually. I'm using Olivia's computer. It keeps saying my camera's not working, so I don't know if you can see me. I can't see myself. I'm Teresa Stroud. We've got a family-run manufacturing company down in Chesham. Really interested in that tea. We're big tea drinkers here, so we're a manufacturing company. We've been running for about 20 years, and now we're very family based. Olivia's our daughter. She's come on board to take the business forward, so we're on a huge growth trajectory. So interested to listen about some awards this year.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Teresa. If I call you Olivia, I apologise in advance. Okay. Just very difficult when you've got the name there. So Giles, we've already talked about your tea. We've already got one taker, 2 takers for your tea. I think you better put a link in chat so we can all go and find the Bucks blends. I'm all for a bit of networking, and for goodness sake, do put the link in chat. And
well, if you follow us on Instagram, you'll double our followers.
we'll see what we can do between us. All right.
All right, thanks.
But always willing to help our businesses, you know, so really happy. Dave, got your message. Thank you very much. Understand if you've got problems. If you are unable to unmute and introduce yourself, fantastic. If not, don't worry, we'll simply move straight on. I feel a bit sorry for Dave.
Gosh.
There's nothing worse or more embarrassing, is there, when somebody calls out your name and you can't do whatever it is. Dave, don't worry. We'll make something up for you. You're going to be running the largest business on the planet any minute now, and we'll give you a profile unless you're able to do that. Feel free to introduce yourself on chat, both Giles and Jewel, if that's a good way of doing it, just so that we know the sort of business that you've got, because actually it's really helpful, certainly from my point of view. Okay, well, let's move on. What I'd like to do is to introduce you to Anna Brown. Anna, welcome. Anna is, well, as you can see there, she has won 2 awards in the past. One for excellence in customer service back in 2021, and last year as community champions, which is fantastic. So Anna, I'm going to hand you over to Anna, and yeah. Anna, feel free to take control of the slides.
Okay, thank you. Let me just take control. Good morning. As Heather says, I'm Anna. My husband and I have J. Brown Funeral Services. We are a small independent funeral director. We have offices in Amersham and Wendover in Buckinghamshire. Some of you may know us. If you're fortunate, you may have never had to need anyone like us. In the pandemic, of course, we had a really tough time, as of course a lot of businesses did, but the difference with us, of course, is we didn't stop. In fact, it was harder for us, particularly for my husband, because I had to shield. So my husband was working, kind of running the business while I was staying at home. So we run our business a lot like this. So this is kind of how we were running the business. So it's really interesting that actually it's kind of going back to normal. And one of the reasons we applied actually for the award in 21 was because we'd had such a really tough year in 2020 and the beginning of 21 that we thought we really, really deserved it. And some of you may be kind of thinking that kind of, you know, what the last few years you think, you know what, now's the time to really to get an award because I've really, really earned it. And I think maybe that's kind of something to think about, you know, when you're looking at the awards. These are just some of the pictures that I didn't put these ones together. These were surprised at the last time I presented, so I'm just going to kind of quick pass these ones. But you can see the big smiles. We were always chuffed to win. We won 2021 Excellence in Customer Service. Now, for us as a funeral director, the Customer Service Award is the one that matters the most to us. We are a service industry. Funerals are service. We are a people industry. We are customer facing, although we don't call our families customers, of course. They are essentially customers, of course. And in 2022, we won a Community Champions Award. That one we just entered purely by accident. We weren't planning to enter another award. We went along to the awards lunch last year and thought we were just going to go along because I really like the food at these things. And I really like to catch up with people. And someone said, "Are you entering again?" And we said, "No, we're not going to." And we were flicking through the magazine, and we thought, "Oh, actually, we do a lot for the community. Why don't we enter?" And we did. But anyway, I'm jumping ahead. In 2018, we went to the awards launch at Missenden Abbey. We were a new business then. We'd only been going for maybe 2 years. We'd started up in Amersham. It'd been really tough, actually. At one point, we didn't know if we were going to survive as a business. We'd run out of money. You know, at one point, we thought we might lose the house. And, you know, we didn't apply. We got almost the way through it. It was really difficult, but at the last minute, we pulled our submission. And actually, I kind of regret that later on, because I think we should have gone through with it. We might not have won, but it would have been really good to kind of see what would have happened and seen the whole process through. And actually, we found the awards process a little bit intrusive, I think. And maybe as a new business, I don't think we were confident in our ability to compete with established businesses. I think we were still a bit shaky about, you know, can we do this? Maybe we weren't quite ready to kind of analyse ourselves properly, because there's quite a lot of intrusive questions. I don't know if you've looked at the questions yet, but some of them really make you take a really hard look at your business. Which now, actually looking back and having done a couple of awards applications, and obviously done the Bucks Business Awards a few times, they're actually really good at making you take a real kind of a different look at your business, because your business, as business owners, you're busy day to day working. Like today, I'm in my office. I've had to quickly take an hour out of my day, and then after that, I've got lots to do. And I haven't got the time to plan for the next 5 years today or the rest of this week. I'm in meetings all week. I've got families coming in the rest of the day. We've got funerals to arrange. I certainly haven't got time to plan for 5 years. But when you're doing these business awards, that's what you do. You take a different look at your business, your 3-year plan, your 5-year plan. So it's really, really useful. But anyway, in 2021, we won. And it was a really exciting time for us. And I'd say that it's something I would definitely recommend doing. The application process, as I said, is lengthy. I sat in my office with my husband, and we did a kind of looked at the year that we'd done, and kind of tried to kind of break it down as the things that we wanted to kind of shout about when they asked us the questions. Certainly you can't do it in one go. It's too much, and I think you'll miss out a lot of things. Doing a rough draft and going back on it, I think, is really important. The same as doing job applications. If you've taken job applications, I'm sure the judges will be the same. That if you look at something and it's littered with mistakes and, you know, there's lots of errors, it will be something that they're just going to skip out. This detail is so important. The key is in the detail, I think. You know, you want your application to shine, because there's going to be lots of applications. You know, the Bucks Business Award is such a great award to have. It's such a fantastic achievement. You want to make sure that you're getting that really important things in there. Looking back at the last 12 to 18 months, you know, what are the really key things? And the one thing that I really, really did the second year, which we didn't do in the first year, was having our accounts to hand as well. Because the one thing that we really didn't like and found difficult was the numbers questions. I'm terrible with numbers anyway, hand on heart, I'm awful with numbers. Having our accountants' books, our verified books from our accountants, really helped that section of it. There is a whole section, again, I don't know if you've already started your application, there is a whole section on your financials. You'll need those books to get through that. That will really, really help. And once you have completed, leave it for a few days or a week if you've got time, and then go back and look at it again and go over it and make some changes. And I did that, and I think it really, really helped. We never had any judges visits. Our first application, of course, we were still quite deep in COVID. And so our judges visits were all over the phone and like this. You know, we've not actually had any judges visits in person, but I believe that is happening. So because it felt like there was quite a lengthy amount of time from doing our application to afterwards, you start panicking about what you've said really on your application. Obviously your application is saved, so I made notes and I got nervous like I was doing a job interview. But of course, the judges aren't there to trip you up. You know, they're there just to kind of talk to you. But I did make notes, I did reread my application, and I made time in my diary to make sure that I wasn't going to be disturbed. You know, my office can be busy sometimes with people coming in. You know, it's a working office. I have, you know, people can come in. I have dogs in my office as well. they're therapy dogs, but they can bark if people come in, which is not ideal if you're doing a face-to-face. But actually, both times when we've chatted with people, it's just been really relaxed and really casual. So it's not anything to worry about, but it's certainly something to just kind of be prepared for and to know what you put in your application, because if you don't know what you've said and they ask you a question about it, it's going to be difficult to kind of answer your questions, I think. As I said, we had our first application was customer service, and they asked me questions about customer service. And my second entry was community champion. We do a lot of fundraising. We do a lot of things in the community. So we do Halloween trails for the children. At Halloween, we've done Christmas trails. We sponsor local football teams. We do lots of little pieces. And obviously they asked us questions about that, which was easy for me to answer, of course, because I'm the one that does it. My husband, of course, doesn't know quite so much about what we do and would have been a bit tripped up there. I won't go too much into this bit because I know that Kerry is going to talk about this after me. But as soon as we won, the first thing I did, we just opened our Wendover office after we won our first award. We won in April, so we won in July, and we'd opened our second office in the April. And I took the trophy, which we were handed because there was no award ceremony in 2021, and I brought it straight to our Wendover office and put it in the window with the certificate, and took a photo and plastered it all across our social media. Within minutes, it was all across social media. And I don't know how big your screen is, but if you can see on the social media, the engagement that we had from that was so big. As a funeral director, and I don't know what your business are, our engagement is not typically big because we're not an exciting thing to share. We don't have cute things to share. We don't sell stuff. We don't. The things that we do is not. We don't post a lot of things. But obviously we have a brand that's there. We do have dogs that we share, and we do a lot of fundraising and community engagement that we share. So for us, generally, we don't use a lot of social media, but for us, it was really important, and that's what we share. We put it on our email signatures. We've got stickers in, we have window clings or decals, as you call them, and our brochures have it. Our website has it. So everything that, everywhere we put it, as soon as we won, we put it absolutely everywhere. And that was a really important thing for us. And families who we cared for years ago have sent us emails congratulating us. So for us, particularly because we were growing as a business, and we're still, from a funeral perspective, we're a very new business at 6 years old, competing with businesses who are either hundreds of years old in some cases, or have huge marketing budgets, which we just don't have, dealing with the likes of the Co-op and Dignity, who are big, well-known brands. This for us gives us something they don't have and couldn't have. So for us, it's a real kind of accolade that we can shout about and that people really care about. And that's it, really. That's for me. So just good luck, and any questions, I'm happy to answer them. You can obviously get my details. You can find me on social media as well, J Brown Funeral Services. I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Really appreciate that. And before we go on to our next speaker, Kerry, if you'd like to take control now, just while I ask if there are any questions for Anna before we move on. And feel free to ask a question, especially if you've got stupid questions. I like stupid questions for the simple reason that you bet your bottom dollar that everybody else is thinking exactly the same thing.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to show my trophies. There you go, there's a trophy. I had them in person last time.
Thank you, Anna.
Can I ask, did you enter immediately with a specific award in mind, or did
Yes.
you find as you were writing it that you thought, actually, I could enter in, based on what I'm writing, I've realised I could enter in a number of categories?
In the first year, we specifically only wanted customer service. That was really the only one that we wanted in the first year. In the second year, community, when we went for the community champion, that was the one that we just went for, because we thought, oh no, this one would actually really fit with us. So the first year was very specific. The second year was more kind of, oh, actually this one would really work for us. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, moving swiftly on, I'd like to introduce Kerry-Jane Hackling from Cherub PR. Kerry's going to tell you all about the PR side and how you can use and abuse the awards if you enter to your absolutely best advantage to put your company forward. So Kerry, over to you.
We prefer maximise to use and abuse, Heather. Come on. Hi everybody, I'm Kerry Hackling. We do the PR for the awards and we have done since forever, and we're also previous winners. We won 2 awards before we took on the PR, and now we're not allowed to enter, so that's it for us. But we do all the PR for the awards, so hopefully we will be talking to some of you as time goes on and as you're all very successful with your awards. So even being shortlisted is a massive deal because it gives you stuff to talk about. Winning is amazing, but there's 3 shortlisted candidates, and that's always really good just to be part of those 3 because there are a lot of entries, especially in certain categories. So it's a cost-effective opportunity to generate press coverage. It saves you advertising. Advertising, you pay £1,000 for an advert, you get £1,000 worth of advertising. You pay, or you do PR for free and you get it for free. It's much more cost effective. It also increases your credibility. Being an award-winning company or a shortlisted company really shows that you are deserving and that you are a company that is to be taken seriously. It obviously raises your profile as well. So all that goes towards raising your profile within the local area. I mean, and as Anna said, you'd be really surprised who sees it. When we were shortlisted and when we won, actually, my neighbours were coming around going, "Oh, I saw you in the paper." You know, it's surprising. You think it's just happening in a vacuum, but of course it isn't. Also improves team morale. A good night out is always good fun anyway, but people want to work for an award-winning team. It makes them feel that their work is paying off. So it attracts new staff as well. And of course, it's a good opportunity to generate content and images for other marketing activity. I mean, Anna did an amazing job with their PR on top of the work that we were doing on it. So, you know, don't just win the award and leave it, you know, literally make the most of it and keep making the most of it. I'm going to rattle through this, so if anyone's got any questions, you can email me later. So one thing that you can do, and I mean, Nikki said this already because she does this as well, but you can use an external PR and marketing company to help with your award entry. Like Anna said, it's a really good opportunity if you're doing it yourself to actually look at your business and take a different look at it. But if you use an external company to talk through your entry, you get objectivity, you get focus, you get expertise and the ability to look at the positives. The challenge when you're doing your own PR or your own marketing or any award entry is that you're constantly going, I'm not good enough, oh, I'm not sure I'm going to do this, who am I competing against? And you sort of talk yourself out of it. I mean, Anna said the same thing when they were doing their first one. You tend to kind of think who you're competing against rather than the things that you've achieved. And sometimes, even if it's not with a PR agency, talking to people that you work with or your partner or whoever, they will be the ones going, no, you've done this and you've done that. You need to sort of keep in mind that you've got to look at the positives. But with the objectivity, it's a good idea to get a third person involved, whether it's a PR agency or just somebody that you know and trust to help with. So the existing PR, like I said, we do all that. So at the end of the award ceremony, we obviously announced the launch of the awards, which we've done already. Once the finalists are announced, we announce all those in the local press. So that's the Buckinghamshire Press, the Bucks Herald, the local radio and social media channels. So all that goes out as soon as the finalists are announced. On the night, we interview all the winners. So if you win, you're taken out the back of the theatre and we interview you about how you feel about the win, and we get that signed off. We used to do it the next morning, but everyone was too hungover, so it didn't really work very well. So we now do it the night of the event and get the quotes signed off so that we can get the press moving the next day. And the press release goes out to all, again, those local media outlets and radio stations. And there are supplements that detail the finalists and winners, which we create, and it's released by BBF online. We're still talking to the Bucks Herald actually about doing a supplement, which is what we used to do, but they've all put their prices up, so we're seeing what we can do with that. But the BBF online supplement goes out, and that goes out to 15,000 people, Heather. I think that's right, isn't it? It's about 15,000 people, so it goes a long way anyway. So, and it's got the pictures, and it's got you all looking beautiful, and it's got the quotes from you talking about how you feel about winning. So it's a really nice thing that you can share with your followers and through your newsletters as well. Let me just see, there we go. My screen's looking funny. So for you to capitalise on the awards PR, Anna did a great job, like I said. You've got to do it yourself. We can do so much, but you can do it yourself. So do a company newsletter or a newsflash email to clients, just talking about, you know, just needs to be a paragraph. We're so delighted to announce that we won this award, wanted to share it with you. That's a really nice thing for people to receive. And if it's loyal clients, that they're happy for you. If it's new clients, they're impressed. So do send something out to your clients or potential clients. Use it for your social media content, pin it at the top of your profile on Twitter, put award-winning on your LinkedIn profile. You know, and actually you can use that forever, because even if you won an award in 2020, you're still an award-winning company in 2023. So it's, I mean, keep entering awards, obviously, but it's, you know, you don't not be an award winner just because time has passed, so you can keep using it. Also use the logo in your email signature. Now, I would only do that for a year because that can't keep going forever, but use the logo in your email signature, which you will get from BBF as an award winner. I would also use it on the homepage of your company website. Anything you can amend your website to say award winning or put the logo up. Just make the most of the materials that you get from BBF to do that. And also issue your own press release to the media. I've got a feeling there is a kind of draft press release that we have given to BBF that goes out. But if there isn't, you can easily find out how to write a press release. I've actually got a bit of advice about that coming up, but get that out to the media. The thing I should say as well is that because the award ceremony takes place in Aylesbury, and because it's the Buckinghamshire Business Awards, we target the local press, so the Buckinghamshire Press and the Bucks Herald. But if you're based out in Buckingham, like Nikki is, we don't cover the Winslow press. So if you're slightly outside of that area, it's worth contacting the press in Milton Keynes, which still counts as Buckinghamshire, but they wouldn't necessarily run the story because the event is held in Aylesbury. So if you're slightly outside, kind of Hobart, Aylesbury, it's worth targeting the local press, specifically targeting your town or village. And use the information in future press releases and media activities. So, you know, like I say, award-winning tea company or award-winning PR company, whatever it might be. But just keep remembering it, because it's very easy to win it and then, like I say, put it to one side and not use it properly. But actually, it's important to keep capitalising on that. Do you know, it's just typical, isn't it? My doorbell's just rung. I'm going to ignore it. I shouldn't work from home today. That's the problem. Right, the other thing is your target media. So in your case, it'll be Giles. So if you win the award, talking to the grocer about it or one of your trade publications is worth doing. So you can issue a press release to them saying Buckinghamshire Tea Company has won XYZ in a good press release. So look into your target media if you're in the trade, and build a media list which details names, emails and phone numbers. Most magazines and newspapers carry the contact details, and it's quite easy. I mean, you know, we've got the internet now. It's quite easy to track down who it is you need to talk to. Social media research as well. So use Twitter. There is a hashtag which is journo response. And if you type that into Twitter, you'll come up with journalists who are looking for stories. Not all of them are going to be relevant to you, obviously, but sometimes they're looking for new stories about food companies or drink companies or whatever it might be. So it's worth keeping an eye on those, because that way you can track down journalists that might be interested in your specific story or specific industry. So also do a little hashtag search for your industry as well and see what comes up. But I would recommend doing it because they're always looking for good news stories. And even if you're a small company looking to grow, it's a great way to just get that ball rolling. And even if they don't run it, they don't know who you are. So then send a press release or pitch in the body of an email with a really short covering note explaining your story, and I will come on to how to write the press release a bit later. I hate doing this with PR people in the room actually, because I'm always worried they're going to go, no, we do it a different way. Nikki's going to jump in any moment. So the press releases basically work like an inverted pyramid. So you put the most newsworthy information at the top, which is obviously that you won the award, on what date, how you won it, who it was from. So that basically who, what, where, why, when. Then the important details further down, which is things like the quote, which talks about how you feel about winning the award, why you think you won it, and how important it is to you. And then at the bottom, sort of general information, background information. And it sounds really basic, but don't forget to include things like your website address, your contact details, your Twitter handle, any social media activity that you do in terms of, you know, your handles, because people could contact you. It's amazing how people send out press releases without their contact details or phone numbers. And if a journalist wants a really quick comment, they want to ring you, they don't want to email you. So put all that contact information in. And don't forget to include images, which you will get from BBF. But that's what's really going to get journalists' attention, is you looking all happy and shiny with your award. That's really what's going to get their attention. And like I say, include a quote from you or one of your team explaining what winning the award means to you, because that makes it personal. It puts a face to the company and a face to the award. So that's me. That was very quick because I think I was under time pressure, but hopefully that all makes sense. If anybody wants to talk anything through or connect, those are all my contact details. So feel free to drop me a note if I can help at all. Any questions?
Complete silence. You've stunned everybody into silence, Karen.
I went through at breakneck speed.
No, but some really useful tips there. We are pushed for time, and I'm not going to say that again, because there's nothing more frustrating than somebody harping on about that all the way through the workshop. But I will say, you know, Gary's going to be with us to the end, as well as Anna. So if you have any questions, put your hand up, or put a question in chat, or just plain interrupt. You're very welcome to do so. So let's go on and look at what the rest of this workshop, which is actually, well, now we're going to ask you to actually enter the competition, if you like. It's all about, you've got to enter. It's all very well, you know, what you're going to do when you've won this thing, and of course you're going to win, and of course you're going to be a finalist, and all that sort of stuff. Let's go in with positivity, but let's look at the actual entry process right now. So who can enter the awards? Well, it's open for any registered private sector organisations or companies of any size, but you must be located within Buckinghamshire, and you must have been trading for at least 12 months in order to be eligible for the awards. That seems fairly straightforward to me. Can I just point out, we've already had an application from somebody who unfortunately has not been trading for 12 months. So therefore, we've already had to say, I'm really sorry, please save all of your answers and re-enter next year. But we do need people to have been trading for at least 12 months. If your organisation is part of a larger business or franchise, then we do ask that your own part of that organisation is run as a separate business unit. In other words, you've got autonomy over what you do and how you do it. This is a judging of you as your business, should I say. So it's judging your business, not what a head office is dictating to you. So if you are part of a larger business or a franchise, then we must ensure that you've got separate autonomy. So Jules' question, are businesses from outside of Buckinghamshire adjacent to it eligible to enter? If you are in Northamptonshire, I'm really sorry, Jules, if that's where you are based, the answer is no. and I don't want you to leave the call, but if you feel that you've got to, then I think that's the case. We do allow Milton Keynes businesses to enter. That's the only one thing that I would add, and that's because Milton Keynes is a part of Old Buckinghamshire. So many of the businesses there have a Buckinghamshire address and postcode, and therefore, to save any confusion, we do allow Milton Keynes businesses to enter if they would like to, but we do not promote the actual awards themselves in Milton Keynes. Jules, it's been lovely having you with us. I'm really sorry that you're going, but completely understand. So, moving swiftly on then, we've got our applications nowadays are online. And when you go online, this is what you see. And as you can see there, it clearly says enter here. So head on over to our website. It's on the home page. If it ever disappears, go on to the bbf.uk.com website, type in Business Awards 2023 into the search engine. It will always come up. When you enter it, you will see lots of information in there. It is all there, and everything that we are talking about this morning, you will find online. These are the categories that you can enter this year. They do change slightly year on year. And as you go through them, you're probably thinking, oh yes, that's an interesting one. I might be able to enter that, or I might be able to enter a different one. Can I just say that you are eligible to enter a maximum of 2 categories. Got the questions for entering any category are in 2 parts. The first part, which has the bulk of the questions, are the same for each category, and you only need to complete them once. It'll be quite obvious when you are filling in the application online. So to enter 2 categories, where you only have another 5 questions to answer, would make sense. So the tip that we would give you is to enter 2 categories. But then, as another tip that I would give you is think about which one you want to be known for. Is it for the customer service that you give? Or is it because you think your business is really innovative? Or that you're a great community champion? Whatever it is, if you were to win that award, that's what you're going to be known for. So have a think carefully about what it is you want to be known for. Make that your #1 category for entering. Second category, what you could do, you can either say, well, this is the second one that I would like to enter, or you could do the tactical manoeuvres game. Which categories do you think are going to be the most popular? And therefore, that's going to reduce your chances of becoming a finalist or winning. Or which ones do you think might have a reduced number of businesses that actually could apply? So if you're talking about a Creative Business Award, it will not be open to all businesses across the county. And it would be fair to say that something like customer service might pertain to a lot more companies. So have a think about that. Do you want to play the tactical game with your second opportunity to enter? Whatever category you do enter, you will find online a link to the category booklet, which outlines each of the categories and the eligibility for each one. And it gives loads of information in there. Again, that's something that you can download and have a look at online. And please read it carefully. I'm going to say this, I can't say this enough. Please read the instructions. Please don't like that business that I felt dreadful for, who'd gone to all the trouble of completing their application, and then we have to say, I'm awfully sorry, you're not eligible. Please check the eligibility rules. Make sure only one person works on your application at a time, and that you only have one instance of your application open at a time. In other words, don't have multiple ones open. The reason being, it can cause some chaos and it can cause you to lose data, or it can be overwritten. So do watch out. As I've already mentioned, do have a look at that category guide, and all of the questions that you need to answer are in there succinctly, so you can have a quick browse through the questions, think about what you might need to find the answers out about. Online entry form accepts all standard characters, but not emojis, so no smiley faces, winky faces. You know, I made £5 million profit last year with a winky emoji or whatever afterwards. That might make us smile, but it doesn't help the judging, is all I can say. And as you go through, some questions are marked with a red asterisk, and that means that they are compulsory, and that there is a further explanation that is available about that question. Hover over the question mark to read it. Not only do we have a categories booklet, but some of the tips I'm giving you, they're all in the guide to entering booklet, again, which you can find online. Some really useful information in it and pointers to help you with your application, including contact details, telling you, reminding you, please read the question. Told you I keep repeating that. Be clear, concise and analytical. Anna said that right at the very beginning. Keep to the word limits. Provide evidence to your statements. You can attach documents as well. So have a think about that. And provide samples of your PR if that's what you want to do. In other words, tell us about your business as much as you possibly can. And if you can, provide the proof. So, yet again, please read the questions. The first section, as I've already said, has got lots of questions in it. There are 19 questions for that first one. And that might seem quite a lot, but some of them are really easy to answer, and you will all have the answers readily available. But we really need to understand your business, why you do what you do, what drives you. And it's for these reasons that we ask the questions such as, what's the makeup of your workforce? What are your products or your services? Who are your customers? What are the principal factors that you think determine your success? What are your challenges at the moment? Now, you'll all have the answers to those questions. Just think about how you would answer them so that a judge can get a feel of what your company is all about. Once you've done that part one, you will then go into your category questions. And there I've given you some examples of some of them, and the questions you can find in that category booklet if you want a heads up on them. But they are the specifics pertaining to that category, and you can see some examples there of what you might find. So let's look at the judging. How do we judge the awards? You've chosen your categories, you've filled in your application. What actually happens next? Well, it's a little bit like a job application, and we treat the judging very seriously. So when you do a job application, some of you might do it as employers, I know we do it, is that you score that application for the answers to those questions. It might be out of 5 or it might be out of 10. And we ask our judges to do exactly that. And they have a bit of a matrix on a spreadsheet, and they ask that they then ring up and go and visit their top at least 4 businesses. There might be more than 4, but some judges will want you to go and see many more will want to go and see many more businesses, but they all must have one-to-ones with 4 businesses. We ask that that's face-to-face wherever possible. If you get a phone call, that's good news. You've been shortlisted. You're on your way. And what I would say is, if they're wanting a face-to-face meeting, please can you make sure that it is in your workplace. It is not for working from home or in the pub, which is open to bribery and corruption. Let me buy you a few drinks and get you absolutely slaughtered before you ask us all of your questions. We would ask that you ensure that your most senior person is available to talk to these people. And I bet I can answer the question without even asking it. If your business is run from home, then obviously a home visit is, I guess correctly, we've done this before. So if your business is run from home, then obviously the visit would be at your home, but only under those circumstances. Does that answer your question? Sorry, Giles.
Yeah, or I mean, can you do it at the premises of one of your customers?
No, we would ask that you don't do that for the simple reason that, again, that it can cause bias to creep in. So we would ask it to be at your premises. It's a bit like,
Okay.
you know, you're going to go and choose a school for one of your children. You don't want to go and see one of the home of one of your pupils because that's got no bearing on it. So you might want to talk to them, but the visit is at your workplace.
Okay.
Once they have visited, and now, can I just ask you to go to the category booklet now? When you look in the category booklet and you're looking up your category, it will say very clearly at the bottom what the judges are looking for. Please read that before that visit. And it's really important because that's really what the judges are looking for. So read up what they're looking for and make sure you've got the answers, and if necessary, that you can provide the proof on the day. Once the judges have been, they write up their notes and they let us know their thoughts, and we invite them to what we call an independent judging day. And that is where we pull in 5 or 6 independent judges who've had absolutely nothing to do with the process so far. And we invite each of those judges of each of the categories to come and discuss their findings as to when they have gone out. 2 reasons for that. One is judging is incredibly difficult, and choosing between one company and another can be incredibly difficult. So sometimes it's good to be able to discuss that. The other one is that it gives the independent judges a good feel for those companies, and we ask for each category whether that judge for that category wants to put forward their winning business, if they want to put it forward for Company of the Year, and if so, why. Not all judges will necessarily want to do that. They might have an incredibly worthy winner of that particular category, but is it the exemplar business for the Buckinghamshire Company of the Year for everything? Maybe, maybe not. So the judge will then put forward whether they would recommend that company for Company of the Year. And at the end of that day, the independent judges will come together and they will vote as to who should then be the Company of the Year. The only exceptions for anybody or any category not becoming Company of the Year is the Community Champion of the Year and also the Young Entrepreneur. They are not put forward for Company of the Year. So, key dates for your diaries. Closing date for entries, you've got a while yet, 15th of May, got loads of bank holidays coming up. So feel free to use them up, filling in these applications. We will have the judging day at some stage. I suspect it's the beginning of July, and finalists will be announced on the 27th. We announced 3 finalists for each category. And if you are a finalist, you will then have somebody contacting you to say, can we come and do some video of your company? And you are also invited to the award ceremony at the Waterside Theatre on the 21st of September. And you can buy, you get 1 or 2 tickets for that, can't remember the exact number. And you can buy more tickets if you want to invite more people to it. And your bit of video will be shown on the night. And just to let you know that that piece of video will be given to you so that you can use for whatever purpose you want to use it for afterwards. But usually that's really helpful. Right, we're 4 minutes over time. Have we got any questions and answers? Oh, questions, and I hope to provide the answers, should I say.
Yeah, so I popped one in the chat. How many entries did you get last year?
We never divulge that. We don't provide feedback on your entry, nor do we let you know how many entries that we get. Suffice to say, a very large number. So 3 figures, not 4 figures. That's helpful to you. Other questions? Well, either we're all brilliant presenters, aren't we, Kerry? I can see you've got a question. We're either brilliant presenters or you've fallen asleep. I'm not sure. Kerry, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, well, it's not a question. I just wanted to reiterate because the BBF awards are the one awards that I would take seriously, because we enter different awards, but actually the BBF awards are the one that I most rate in Bucks, and it's not just because we do their PR. It's actually true. You don't have to pay. You get properly assessed, and it is really judged on the success of your business. So it's not just a kind of trophy for the sake of it. You know, so many of these things are dependent on how many tickets you buy for a table, and they're kind of popularity contest. And this one isn't. It's judged properly. The entry process is serious, and you know, if you're going to enter any awards, then I'd recommend doing the BBF awards. And that's
I'd reiterate. Well, yeah, definitely. And you know, we're often approached by different things, and we had one recently saying we'd won best family-run business in Buckinghamshire, which we've refused to accept because it's just nonsense. You know, it's not a real award. And as business owners yourselves, a lot of you will probably get these emails. They're not real, and there's no value in them. And in fact, they'll devalue the real awards you get, and they're not worth accepting. A Bucks Business Award, people know the value on them. So it's important to do that, and to any of these kind of fake awards, they're just not worth it. I see companies with them, I see competitors with them, and a lot of people are savvy and knowledgeable about these things now. And all it takes is Google to look up these awards, and you can see how fake they are. You know, it's just really not worth it. So yeah, with Bucks Business, people can see the value in them. Really worth doing. So you can't win them all, obviously, but it's a real good process, you know, and you've got as good a chance as anyone if you put the time and the effort into the application. So
thank you, Anna. And yes, we do pride ourselves on the robustness of the judging. So no apologies for the number of questions. It's one of the reasons why we're asking so many. Before we all disband, are there any other further questions that anybody would like to ask? See somebody typing furiously. Don't know if that's another question. Just hold fire, because I know we've got some issues over sound. Okay, just while we're waiting, is to simply say, after all of that, thank you, Jane. But you know, the very best of luck with your entry. Really looking forward to seeing it, and more to the point, looking forward to seeing you actually at the Waterside Theatre in September. So if you have, if you come up with any questions as you are going through your application forms, please feel free to contact us or let us know, and one of us will come straight back to you, whether it's myself or a member of the marketing team, and we can try and help you out. But so suffice to say from me, thank you very much indeed for joining us today. Galina from Silverstone, thank you very much for hosting us and battling with the IT there heroically, trying to get it all sorted. So over to you, Galina. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Heather. Just to echo what Heather said, thank you everyone for joining us today. Apologies for the technical issues we had at the start. We're working on it and we'll make sure that that never happens again. Thank you to all of our presenters. It's been a really insightful presentation. There's lots of interesting information in there. The recording from today's event will be available later today and you will all receive copies of the slides so you can get all the contact details that you need. And we hope to see you at one of our next webinars. Please check our website. There's a lot of interesting content coming up, so we hope to see you soon.